Okay, I want to talk about, this is part 3 of upgrading Penn Fathoms and Torques. I want to talk about what I believe is a better way to set up the reel. See, mine is marked up like crazy. I got labels all over it. I got little red marks. It's ugly and commercial looking. If I were a little more artistic, I'd do a better job, but here's the bottom line. On so many reels, particularly the ones that are not optimized, people follow the standard advice of setting their drag at the strike position right there at 33% of the breaking strength of the line. That works pretty well most of the time, but on reels like this, when they haven't been optimized, a lot of times what happens is at that setting, the reel can't handle it. It's too high. If you push it all the way to full when it's at that setting, you turn the handle and there's a ton of handle resistance. The pinion bearing is whining. The reel is tuned up too high. Here's a better way, in my opinion. I set mine at 50% of the rated breaking strength of the line, but I do that in the maximum position. So this is I use this for long range live bait fishing. This is my 50-pound reel. I set it at 50% in the maximum position. It's 25 pounds at full. I don't care what it is at strike. If you do it this way, you'll soon find out that every reel is different. These reels are not consistent in their drag output. Straight from the factory, after you optimize them, it doesn't matter. There's slight differences in all of them, so some of them will be pretty close, but I would not be surprised to have this at 25 pounds at the maximum setting and yet only 9 pounds at strike. Or have it at the 25 pounds at the maximum setting and have 20 pounds at strike. It's different on all reels. Effectively, what happens if you set the reel up the way I am advocating, generally speaking, the preset knob is not ramped up quite as high. So what that means is if your reel is not under so much tension all the time from the preset setting, you run up the drag, the handle turns easier, the pinion bearing isn't whining and getting worn out. Your chances of good free spool are much higher at lower presets than they are at higher preset settings. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm using the entire drag curve, knowing that 25 pounds of drag on 50-pound test is always going to be enough for me to get the job done, but that results in much less handle resistance and better free spool when I'm at my strike setting. That just works better for me. How do I know where to set my reel up, where to set my preset up? This is it right here. I have measured my drag with the drag scale. I found and set my reel for 25 pounds at the maximum setting. I measured and I found that I had 14 pounds at the strike setting. I just simply put a sticker on and I draw a line on the sticker that's in line with the lever when the lever's in free spool. When the preset is here, I know always that this is what I have, is 14 and 25 pound. It's important for another reason too. A lot of times, this gets moved. Maybe we move it when we're dicking around, or a deckhand moves it, or you hook and hand it to someone or lend it to someone and they move it. Once you do that, it's really hard to then get the reel back to the right setting. You don't know if you're gonna, where the preset is at, it may have stopped free spool. I see that all the time, especially on reels that have not been optimized. So this is my constant. I know if my reel's here, I have that drag that I've showed you and I have free spool. I always mark it there, or I always leave my preset in that position. I do another, it's kind of a ghetto marking, but I put here red mark equals 20. So my drag range right now is 14 at strike and 25 at full. That's a pretty big range. It's useful for me to have something in between. So that little red mark right there that I just did with some red nail polish, followed up by some clear nail polish, that's my 20 pounds marking is right there. That to me is highly useful. And realistically, 20 pounds of drag on 50-pound test, that's starting to get pretty high. That's higher than most people would do. 25 pounds on 25 pounds of drag with 50-pound test. If your connections aren't perfect, you will begin to break them when you're tuna fishing. Okay, I think that's it for my markings. I will just want to touch on one thing. How you store your reel is pretty important. What we want to do is take pressure off the fiber drag washer and pressure off the springs. Set the clicker, back off your lever all the way, reduce your preset by a half a turn or more, and put your reel in high. That relaxes the springs, takes the pressure off the drag washer, save your reel a little bit longer. Give this a try. You might really be surprised at how different your reel feels and how much happier you are with it.